Hello and welcome to a new video. In today's video we're going to take a look at the top 10 buffs part 2 for the Open Great League. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, this is going to be linked in the end card as well, earlier out, I don't know, like a few hours from here. But basically, today we're going to take a look at part number 2. We're going to have 10 more Pokemon that got buffed in those 2 videos they had. We're only going to take a look at Pokemon that got directly the new move added towards them. Doesn't mean that we always have the new move on them, because also there's a special case, at least in today's video, where you don't really want to have that extra move on. We're gonna talk about it, but it still got buffed. But generally speaking, we're gonna take a look at those now. I will make another video then as well for Pokemon that got buffed directly as well, without getting an extra new move. So like there's some move changes, like Shadow Ball got better. Now actually, for the people that didn't see it as well, Shadow Sneak got a little bit of a damage added on top of it after the blog post was released. It went from 50 damage to 75 damage, but also got an energy increase, which doesn't make too much sense towards it, so it's still a bad move. It's just Shadow Claw in bad. Shadow Ball in bad. But yeah, Shadow Ball is one of the biggest buffs. There are some other buffs as well. And so there are some Pokemon still I want to talk about a little bit, so definitely stay tuned for that video as well. But now, today we're going to take a look at the top 10 buffs part 2. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like, of course, as well as subscribe to the channel, as we're going to start off with a big one already. We're going to have here the Blaziken. Blaziken is a Pokemon which is, hilariously enough, something that I suggested literally one day before the news dropped. At the point where my video came out, there was actually already a leak towards the moveset changes, which was mainly correct. I did not have that as a base when I did the video. I did the video on like Saturday or something, when it wasn't out yet, and when they released it on Monday. But I found it quite hilarious because I think suggested exactly the buff that they gave it with Ember and Aura Sphere. And oh wow, this Pokemon is now great, but this Pokemon is not broken. Exactly what you kind of want to have. And that being said, I do think that Blaziken might be the premier Fire-type Pokemon that you will see around, being played generally. Because you're going to have a Fire-type that's not only just a Fire-type and beats those Steel-type Pokemon easily enough, you also have a Fire and Fighting-type, which means you're going to have not the weakness towards that Bastion. And that's quite important. And if you want to play it even funnier, you could even go for Blaziken with Aura Sphere, Ember, and Brave Bird if you want to play it as like the safest Chaser possible, because yes, Blast Bird is going to be recommended, it's going to be the best move towards on this Pokemon, but if you want to hit certain Pokemon like Nazumbo for at least some neutral damage, you would have the option to go also for Brave Bird on this Pokemon, which packs a punch of course, and would be an interesting addition towards this moveset here. But generally speaking, this is one of the Pokemon I suggested. I had no impact towards it, I didn't like put out anything with it, because the video actually got released after there were already news out then where this moveset was already kind of revealed for it as well. But it's kind of hilarious because I had the same idea basically as also then Niantic at the end of the day, which is kind of cool. But yeah, let's move on to the next one. Glalie. This might not be the biggest one. Glalie got access to the new move. Again, every Pokemon here got new move added onto the moveset. Got access to the move Powder Snow, which also Snorunt has, which also the Frosted has, so all 3 of them have now the fast move of Powder Snow, which is cool. But is it better? A tiny bit. Powder Snow also got buffed, which kind of helps out a bit, but in comparison to Frostless, you have the same moveset now, but no step on Shadow Ball and not the Ghost typing. And Ghost typing is actually quite nice for Frostless in my opinion. That being said, I guess Glalie could also benefit sometimes a bit from not having the Ghost typing, as there are quite a lot of Dark type Pokemon around. You're going to be better, for example, against something like Galarian Moltres or what's called the other one? The little bird. The other dark and flying bird. Forgot. Murkrow. Murkrow's the name. Against those you're going to be a little bit better, but then again you're going to be better against fighting type Pokemon with Frostless. So both of them are kind of alright. It's a bit of a buff here for sure. It's going to be quite a bit different on what you kind of beat here apparently, but I find it interesting that the Altaria matchup is worse. I think it's because Roller generates energy faster, and you are able to get to your Avalanche faster, basically, against the Altaria, and that's why this Pokemon is kind of where it is there. It's not going to be meta with it, don't get me wrong, like Personal on it will not make it meta, but maybe for like some limited metas like we saw just in the last unlimited meta we had as well. This is mostly the most exciting one, and I was aware of this one being one of the most exciting ones as well. I was talking in Discord as well about like what Pokemon kind of cool there to a friend, and I was like, Gourgeist is going to be amazing. Gourgeist is going to be absolutely amazing. Like, that Pokemon is broken. Like, you have Fire, Grass, and Ghost type coverage. with the best fire-type move, the grass-type move is fine against the Pokemon that you kind of want to hit with it. You have to use 2 against Azumarill most likely, and most likely 1 against Dachsbun is enough. And then you have Shadow Ball, which is now one of the strongest moves in the game. By the way, Shadow Ball is now a clone of a Blast Burn, and I think it is a clone of Blast Burn. I think Blast Burn actually might be a little bit stronger nowadays. I don't know. But it's definitely a very, very strong move here now. Absolutely, with 100 damage for 50 energy is absolutely fantastic. And that means as well that you're going to be able to have here a Grass type that is going to be able to not only beat Steel type Pokemon, but also going to be able to beat those Bug-type Pokemon, which is kind of funny. So you're going to be able to completely destroy Scizor, which is going to be now weaker this season as well. I will make a video towards which Pokemon you maybe want to not build as much anymore as well, but this is something I'm going to wait a little bit still. Because we have to see still a little bit on how the meta ranking is going to be and whatever. But it's going to be a Pokemon here. Gourgeist, I can tell you already, is going to be in the list of the top 20 Pokemon that you need to build for the Great League. It's amazing. Like, it is absolutely fantastic. This is the super form apparently is the best form, by the way, for it. This is like the biggest one, I think, has the most amount of bulk as far as I know. The other ones have a little bit more attack, could come in handy as well eventually. But as you can see, this Pokemon is absolutely fantastic. It has amazing pacing and amazing moveset. Entering Dhelmise, Dhelmise got access to, in theory, 2 buffs. You would have access to Shadow Ball on this Pokemon, but I do think that Power Whip makes more sense because you have Grass-type coverage, which you don't have otherwise. That being said, I could even still see that maybe Shadow Ball makes some sense on this Pokemon as well. Now with a buff on Shadow Ball, I could see that Shadow Ball, Shadow Claw, and Brutal Swing makes a lot of sense. But Brutal Swing definitely going to help this Pokemon out. It is way cheaper than Rep. You're going to be able to get there after just 4 fast moves instead of, I think, 6 you need for. Yeah, I think you need 6 to get to a Rep otherwise. So yeah, you're going to be super, super fast now to get to a move, and this is going to change a lot for this Pokemon, making it absolutely more usable. Doesn't mean that this Pokemon is going to be fantastic now. That's going to be a little bit too much, but it's going to be a Pokemon that you can use now, and that's something I kind of want to try out as well. This is so funny though, because now we have like so many Ghost and Grass type Pokemon that are all strong, like literally all of them have some play nowadays, which is kind of funny. Like Trevenant got buffed, the Hidroid is still good, this Pokemon got buffed, and now the Gourgeist got buffed, so like, it's going to be a matter of Grass and Ghost type Pokemon apparently. Hydreigon is good against both Grass as well as Ghost, which is kind of funny because I wasn't really trying to make this bridge there, but it worked out as this Pokemon here is going to be getting the new move of Fly on it, which is going to be great as an addition to it. I think it's going to make it a little bit better. This is also here kind of funny though, because apparently against the top meta it's quite bad, but against everything else it's going to be able to beat. I do think that Hydreigon going to have some play in the new season though, because I think the typing itself and the pacing to Brutal Swing is going to be amazing. You have very similar stuff though happening as well with the Guzzlord, which most likely is going to be the ideal one to go for though. But still Hydreigon, especially as a Shadow, has a lot of pressure, and Fly definitely going to help with it. Entering Dachsbun. This Pokemon gets access to Fire Fang, a non-stab move on a Pokemon that has nothing really to do with fire, right? In the previous games it has something to do with fire because it's apparently like a baked, roll or something, like bread or whatever. It's the theme of this Pokemon. It has an ability in the main series games where it doesn't take damage from fire type moves as far as I know. It even gets like a defense boost with it. But yeah, now we have Fire Fang, and while your general over ranking is actually going down in terms of wins, but going up in terms of average rank, the cool thing about this here, why I do like Fire Fang on this Pokemon, is the Pokemon that you are now going to be able to beat are the Pokemon that previously would be able to destroy you, like the Clodsire, like the Fortress, like the Scizor you're going to be able to beat. This is going to be a great trap now, and this is going to be something I'm definitely going to explore as well in the GO Battle League for the upcoming season, is trying to use Dachsbun as a trapping Pokemon with the addition of Fire Fang on this Pokemon. Next up, we're going to have Solrock. Solrock is getting access to the Weather Ball Fire, which makes sense. It's a sun. It is a Pokemon that has definitely some, at least a little bit to do with that. You have, though, the issue here that I feel like this Pokemon is going to be better, of course, with a move. It's going to be an upgrade. I still feel like you don't do enough damage. If I think it learns Meteor Beam as well, like, which is the strongest kind of rock type move that boosts their own attack as well. If this Pokemon would learn Meteor Beam, I think this Pokemon would be amazing. Like this, I don't think it is going to be that great. The main reason for it is you're just lacking the damage output. like fire, Weather Ball Fire is cool, it's a cool coverage move, it's a strong move generally, but you don't have a stab on it. Rock Slide is alright, got buffed like a few seasons back again, after getting nerfed completely, but it's still not a great move. I think it's like 75 damage for 45 energy. That is not a great move. Like, we have now something like Media Mesh, which is 100 damage for 45 energy. This is quite a difference there. And so Solrock is a fun Pokemon to run. I think it's kind of funny to maybe even play Solrock and Lunaton together on one team, which maybe is something I'm going to try out as well this season. But yeah, generally speaking, this Pokemon is mostly not something that you really need to run. It's still kind of funny though, so at the end of the day, you can build it. It's interlude season anyway, you don't have rankings, so it doesn't really matter, but for the next season afterwards as well, I don't think that Solrock is going to take over the meta. You have a little bit of more play with this Pokemon, but yeah, we see on how this is going to go. Milotic is going to get access to Aqua Tail, which is definitely better for this Pokemon. Aqua Tail is clearly better than Surf. Wrap as a secondary charge move, I'm not the biggest fan of it. It is still recommended, I guess, to go for Wrap on this Pokemon. It actually loses out in terms of average rating, but wins 3 extra matchups, so that's that. But I do think that Blizzard might be better, because now you have a super cheap move, and then you have a nuke move that you can bait. And then you're going to have better coverage, and you even have access to the move Hyper Beam if you want to have something to hit a 0 with. But generally speaking, you have Dragon Tail, which generates energy quite fast. I would actually go for Blizzard over Wrap if I was you, but Wrap is recommended. Aqua Tail is definitely going to be an upgrade though for Milotic. Shadow Milotic seems to be better than the normal Milotic as well, which is interesting. Might be a very cool face-up though, because you're going to be able to get quite some decent energy up with it. It's quite difficult to counter this unless you have a Grass-type Pokemon, which I guess people are going to run now. Of course, the Gourgeist, which has Seed Bomb. You should be able to take a Seed Bomb. You resist the fast move. It might actually not be the worst matchup for you, especially with you now being able to spam the Aqua Tail. So, generally speaking, I do think that this Pokemon will have some play. I think it's not going to be common whatsoever, but I think it is going to be a Pokemon that's going to be closer now to being usable, which is good. And Aqua Tail on Milotic makes a lot of sense. Was, funnily enough, also on one of my lists, but I never released it in a video. I had like a list written down of, I think, 30 plus move updates I would like to see. Never released into a video, but because I didn't really saw that the impact was big enough for me to make a video towards it. As you can see as well, the impact isn't big enough. That's the main reason why I didn't include it in a video previously. Houndstone is the one exception I was talking about in the beginning of the video. What do I mean with that is, this Pokemon got access to Play Rough, but you don't want to have Play Rough, but why isn't that in this video now? Because it still got buffed, at least with the move Shadow Ball being better, and I kind of want to at least include it here. Shadow Ball is going to allow you to hit now, yeah, actually lose one matchup for whatever reason. This doesn't make any sense at all. It's the same shit scenario. You have a better average rating, but you lose one matchup. I have no idea. It's mostly because it is against the new meta on the right side. So like it's against a Pokemon that already have the move updates, where Shadow Ball also is going to be cheaper for other Pokemon. That's mostly how it happened. But generally speaking, Houndstone has access to Play Rough, which in theory is great because you're going to have now here a little dog that is going to be able to counter those Dark-type Pokemon. But the issue with it is that you're not going to get there in time. You have Lick as your best fast move, which I don't think is ideal. I would have loved for this Pokemon to get access to Mud Slap. This is something that this Pokemon would learn as well, would be making this way more interesting, because then you have Mud Slap, Psychic Fangs, and Shadow Ball, which you're going to enjoy quite a bit more. 5 Mud Slaps for Shadow Ball, 4 Mud Slaps, and then 3 Mud Slaps for Psychic Fangs is going to be way, way better, and would make this Pokemon actually matter. But like this, it's going to be kind of similar towards what it was before, but I also do think that this Pokemon is quite underrated. Every single time I applied it, it was actually amazing, so I will give it a try again, trust me. But yeah, Houndstone definitely a Pokemon that is going to be a little bit better next season, but mainly thanks to Shadow Ball being better as well. And here we have the final one for today, Hisuian Samurott. This Pokemon was in my list as well for like the top 10, or the worst 10 starters to basically buff. I didn't give it the move that it got. Here it's gonna get Sacred Sword, which is cool, which is gonna help it, but it's not gonna help it as much as it needs to be helped. If you're wondering if Icy Wind or the Dark Pulse is better, Icy Wind is better in my opinion. I looked it up as well, based on the rankings. Yes, I think you win then against the Hisuian Corsola, the Galarian Corsola, if you have Dark Pulse, which you of course don't do with your moveset currently. But you lose up against some other matchups where you needed the Ice type coverage and the debuff on it as well. So I do think that, generally speaking, Icy Wind is ideal on this Pokemon over Dark Pulse. But then again, I would love to see, as I had as well in my video, Sucker Punch on Hisuian Samurott, because what this allows you to do is you're going to get them to Sacred Sword, in 5 fast moves. And that is nice, as well as you have still stab damage with your fast move then as well, which is nice. And this would still make this Pokemon not broken, because you need like 7 fast move for Icy Wind. It's not that crazy spammy then with that either, but it's going to be a good Pokemon to run, which is currently not yet the case, but it has some potential as like a fun Pokemon to run again, so I will try it out as well. Second Sword definitely is an upgrade towards it, but I do think that it needs Sucker Punch in order to be strong, which it does learn, so hopefully we'll see this soon. And this is going to be it for today's video. There's going to be more videos coming up later on today though as well, so definitely stay tuned for this. Check out the video on the screen, and I will see you then. Bye bye.